impacts many people in many industries, but today we're going to be focusing on startup founders and early stage business executives. Why? Because that's who this channel is for. So, burnout is defined as a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. For us, burnout is common. How does it manifest? The 5 recognized symptoms of burnout are headaches, stomach aches, frequent illness, changes in appetite/sleep, and fatigue. But I see it most often manifest in founders as depression, anxiety, low energy, procrastination, and withdrawal from social settings. Let's take a look at what to do when we experience these things. Because if you're anything like me or many of the founders I've worked with over the years, you'll experience this at one point or another. So how do we fight it? Let me share the 3 things that have worked well for me. Please watch all the way to the end because the most powerful thing I'm going to share comes at the end as we need to build up to it for it to really make sense and be of maximum value for you. So the first thing that I've found that helps in these scenarios when you start to experience what I've described is your physical self. Physically, get outside and walk. This may sound trite, but getting outside and walking is not only a good basic way to get exercise, but the act of walking increases thought, gets you away from work, and allows you time to think more objectively. The body is a machine, and we think very, very well when we're out walking. As a bonus, if you're a morning person, walk in the morning as the sun comes up. Getting a little bit of that dawn sun can be pretty magical. If you can do it in the woods, away from people and traffic, it's a double bonus. Ideally, do it without a podcast, even mine, audiobook, even mine, or even music playing. Be alone with your thoughts and just be. Try to do that for at least a half of an hour. The second thing is socially. Meet up with friends or close family and go see a movie, or go on a hike, or grab dinner, but don't, and I repeat, don't talk about work. The point of this exercise is to remind yourself of things outside of work. As a bonus here, commit to doing this at least once a week, ideally with different people or groups. The different stories, perspectives, personal wins, and challenges will give you context to the struggles you're having and will ground you in your life outside of your startup. Getting out and moving and reconnecting with your life outside work will get many of us past the burnout hump all on its own, especially if we catch it early enough. But more importantly, if we make these things habits that will protect us from ever getting here again. Now, let's move to the source and the biggest solution, our startup. It is here that the unresolved stress is likely coming from. Now, in your business, now that we're actually here, in your business, there are several things that can cause burnout for startup founders and for early stage executives. The hours, the constant reprioritization that starts to make it feel like everything is a problem that iterates but never ends. The pressure cooker of deliverables, the lack of outside contact as you hustle to meet a deadline or figure out how you're going to hit payroll that week. Knowing that Rome wasn't built in a day and Amazon didn't produce a profit for 9 years, and that maybe your 1-year-old firm is really not as bad off as you feel in the moment. Managing the expectations of customers, employees, and investors. Existing in artificial light for 10+ hour days and going without touching grass or seeing the sun for literal days at a time. Trying to be okay when your employees want to leave work 3 hours early for the 4th time, knowing that you're spending an extra 3 hours after again, even though you know that you have more upside and more skin in the game and that their perspective is entirely different from your own and entirely okay. All of these things lead to burnout. But, and hear me on this one, each of those also has the answer embedded in the situation. Stop the video for a minute and rewind it and listen again. And you'll see for yourself and hear for yourself in each of those different things, the answer to the problem was embedded. Why didn't we see it the first time? Because we let all those solvable, manageable problems form one monolithic, unsolvable problem. You see, as founders, we're wired to solve problems. We wouldn't be where we are if we weren't. We're the place where the buck stops. So if we allow each of the examples I gave and the many, many that I could have to become one thing, one monolith, we realize that it's an unsolvable problem. And what do? We procrastinate because the problem feels too big. We become anxious because we aren't solving the problem. We become depressed because we feel so anxious. All wound up, we can't sleep. The stress makes us sick to our stomachs, so we don't eat. Or the opposite, we eat our stress. These things give us stomach aches and headaches and insomnia. What did I just describe? Burnout. No, don't let that happen to you. Take a moment, write down the problem you're experiencing right now and figure out the solution. I promise you can. More often than not, like the simple examples I gave, it's embedded right in the problem itself. If you need to, get help with figure out the problem. Go to your team. Go to your network. Get assistance. Get outside opinions. But commit to a solution and implement that one thing. Chunk down a big problem into manageable pieces and it becomes manageable. Don't let them glom together into an unsaleable monolith. You might as well name that monolith Burnout. Now, with the physical and social aspects, I gave you a bonus. So let me give you two for business, two for your startup. The first, join or form a group of founders who have startups that are in a similar place at yours in their development, ideally in a non-competitive arena that you can meet with once a month, ideally in person. It will shock you to find just how many of the problems you're experiencing that they're either dealing or have dealt with. Now, second, and if you take nothing else from this video, then let it be this. And I saved this for last on purpose because you had to hear all the other things first. Please, please do this. Take the advice that you'll get from everyone and delegate as much of your day-to-day task as possible, but do not give away the things that light your fire. Do not give up what made you passionate about this in the first place. That is the fastest path to burnout that I can think of. It's like revving an engine right after you remove the gas tank. Keep those things, and when your wild success has grown your startup past the point that you can do those things anymore, then hire, train, and lead the people that do. But keep that part of the company under your wing, and when things start to get to be a lot, go back there. Get back in touch with what caused you to walk down this path in the first place. Sound good? Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you haven't already, please check out my book, Destination Employer, on Amazon. I wrote that book to help you heroes be able to build and lead the high-performing teams that will drive your success. It's a #1 bestseller for a reason. It will give you the tools you need. Number 2, check out the Business Mastery for Startups and Scale-Ups podcast, wherever you consume that material. It's here on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google. It's designed for entrepreneurs and early stage folks like yourself. Finally, don't keep us a secret. Do all the social media stuff, please. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, reach out to me on my socials with your ideas. Today's video came from a viewer request, and I'd love to make another video of yours. So until next time, go and build something great.